Hey there, Reds. Welcome to Manchester United Daily Updates, your daily hub for all things Manchester United. From transfer news to match, updates and behind-the-scenes stories, we've got it all. Let's get started. Exclusive. MUFC given Harry Kane transfer update after Ruben Amorim's desperate plea to board. Ruben Amorim pleaded with Manchester United to improve their forward line in January, and this ex-Premier League striker believes the club should have listened. Manchester United are missing a player like ex-transfer target Harry Kane after Ruben Amorim's plea for a striker, says Clinton Morrison. The Portuguese head coach has endured a so far dismal spell in charge of the Red Devils, scarcely winning in the Premier League with a stellar Europa League record as the only saving grace. In the January window, Amorim, who arrived to supplant Erik Ten Hag in November, meaning many of the current cohort aren't suited to his vastly different system, pleaded with his employers to splash the cash on a star who would grab goals. While the club didn't oblige, as deals were difficult to do, former top-flight marksman Morrison singled out Kane as a star who they should have done all they could to purchase. Any club in the world would miss Harry Kane, Morrison stated, speaking to freebets.com. Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in world football. You can ask anybody. MUFC were linked to Harry Kane. Before he went to Bayern, MUFC should have pushed out all the stops to get him because they're missing him badly. Amorim's men have mustered a dismal number of league goals so far this campaign. After being forced to play midfield star Kobbie Mainoo in an advanced position at the beginning of February, before the transfer market slammed shut, Amorim revealed that he and United were doing all they could to add potency to their front line. "We are trying everything to improve the team," Amorim admitted, and trying to balance the urgency of the moment. "We know all of the aspects of our club in the moment, but we are trying everything. We have to improve as a team to score goals, and we are trying the best." This market is really hard on the clubs. To make some deals here, it's hard. Only one senior recruit was brought to Old Trafford in January, wingback Patrick Dorg. With few players adapted to play in their new manager's system, Morrison fears it may take some time to elevate the Red Devils back to where they're expected to be. "It just doesn't look good where they are in the league," Morrison added. "We're talking about Man United Football Club, one of the big, if not the biggest team in world football, borough football, and the recruitment at times has been nowhere near good enough. I don't know if there's a root cause. I just think sometimes you look and say, you've got aging players who probably can't play in this system. It's going to take 2 or 3 transfer windows until Ruben Amorim can get the players, and people can buy into how he wants to play. So it's going to be a struggle for Man United fans, and I think they accept that." Harry Maguire gives Patrick Dorg verdict after Manchester United red card versus Ipswich. Harry Maguire has urged teammate Patrick Dorgu to bounce back after being sent off in Manchester United's 3-2 win over Ipswich Town at an Old Trafford on Wednesday night. Dorg was sent off shortly before halftime after a high challenge on Ipswich winger Omari Hutchinson. Referee Darren England was advised by VAR to review the incident on the pitchside monitor, and he brandished Dorgu with his first red card in English football. United led 2-1 at the time of the Danes' dismissal, cancelling out Jadon Philogeni's early opener via an own goal from Sam Morsy and an effort from Matthijs de Ligt. However, Ipswich restored parity almost immediately when Philogene claimed his second goal of the night in first-half stoppage time after his cross, which was attempting to find Liam Delap, missed everyone, and bounced into the back of the net. To United's credit, they refused to roll over and got their noses back in front immediately after halftime when Maguire headed in Bruno Fernandes's pinpoint corner delivery before seeing out the remainder of the game. To play against 11 with 11 in the Premier League is tough, but when you are down to 10 men, it does make it really, really tough, Maguire told MUTV. "Listen, Pat will learn from it. He has been excellent. He has been a real bright spark in the last couple of games. He will learn from it, pick his head up, and I am sure he will go again and be a big player for this club." Each of United's last 2 victories have been sealed by goals from Maguire, who admitted he is only too happy to help out inside the final third. He continued, "I am obviously really happy to contribute and help the boys score goals. It is something I have played my game on throughout my career. I have always been a threat in the box. I got my head on a couple early on in the first half, and we scored from one. And yes, I felt like I was a threat all day at set plays, and thankfully I managed to put the ball in the back of the net. I know it was a tough game for us, especially in that second half, going down to 10 men. Carlos Alcaraz responds to harsh decision as Everton away end make point to 2 stars. Analysis from Chris Beasley after Everton's 1-1 draw with Brentford in the Premier League. Champagne Charlie. He might only have got a reprieve because Abdoulaye Doucouré's wife was about to give birth, but Carlos Alcaraz produced a second daddy of a performance in London in less than a fortnight. There was no assist or winning goal from Everton's latest recruit on this occasion, yet this was still another highly polished display in the capital from the on-loan Flamengo man who only arrived on the final day of the winter transfer window. It might have seemed harsh for Moyes to leave Alcaraz out for the Blues' previous match at home to Manchester United, following his heroics at Selhurst Park, but the decision to restore Doucouré was vindicated by a typically hard-running display that led the charge to keep the Red Devils on the back foot at Goodison Park, and of course was rewarded with a goal of his own. With the 32-year-old unavailable against Brentford due to family matters, though, Alcaraz, also backed by a couple of Argentina flags in the away end at the G-Tech Community Stadium, brought a very different kind of skill set to that same area of the pitch. Although he is a decade younger than the man he replaced, the hard-running approach is not necessarily there, but what the former Southampton man brings is a different kind of tenaciousness, combined with more delicate touches. Alcaraz was often at the heart of Everton's more creative moments and showed that he offers a different kind of threat to anyone else at Moyes' disposal. A Beto hat trick of misses. This was not Beto's night, but for all the Everton striker's travails, he retained the support of his manager and the traveling supporters alike. Among all the chaos that the former Udinese man has brought to the pitch since his $25.8 million switch in August 2023, a series of ice-cool finishes had been the calling card that brought 5 goals from the previous 4 Premier League icons. At Brentford, though, the 27-year-old did not have his shooting boots on. Seldom at this level does an opponent slip to the turf as emphatically as Ethan Pinnock did in the build-up to Beto's first big chance. But when played through on goal, he curiously seemed to try and go around Mark Flecken rather than slot low into the corner, in the fashion he's been excelling so well with of late. And while he did better second time around and at least tried to execute such a finish, it was a poor effort, far too close to the Brentford keeper. It wasn't a case of third time lucky either, as after Everton had equalized, Beto had a glorious opportunity to score a winning goal that the hosts could have had few complaints about. But despite doing the hard work and showing an incredible turn-off pace to shake off his marker, his finish was again not well struck enough to beat the Dutch custodian. The Blues supporters, who had traveled to West London, though kept singing his name, and despite the disappointment, Moyes sang his praises, pointing out that the front man was at least getting on the end of such chances. Fight to the finish. After a grueling schedule of 6 fixtures in the year's shortest month, Everton's weary Warriors could have perhaps been forgiven for having one eye on their sunshine break before the more sedate calendar of a mere brace of matches during March. But they kept fighting at Brentford to the finish and ended up the stronger side as the game drew towards its close. The Blues have covered more ground than any other team in the Premier League since Moyes came back, and with the likes of Iliman Ndiaye. I heard angry Manchester United chant, it showed who is to blame for Nightmare season man. UD won 3-2 against Ipswich Town in the Premier League on Wednesday, and here are the moments you might have missed. Manchester United won 3-2 against Ipswich Town at Old Trafford in the Premier League on Wednesday night. United conceded within 4 minutes, but they looked to be heading into halftime with a 2-1 lead after an own goal and a close-range strike from Matthijs de Ligt. Then Patrick Dorgu was sent off and Jadon Philogene scored his second of the match, providing Ipswich with confidence they could seal 3 points in the second half. However, Harry Maguire made it 3-2 when play resumed, and United demonstrated impressive character to see the result out, despite Ipswich having a one-man advantage. Here are the moments you might have missed from the game. We want the Glazers out. Stand up if you hate the Glazers, echoed around Old Trafford in the second half against Ipswich, and practically every fan rose from their seats to express their anger at the American family. We want the Glazers out, followed that chant, and the volume level increased. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been heavily criticized for penny pinching at United, and rightly so, but he has inherited a club that is close to financial ruin and the Glazers are responsible for the club's bleak situation. If Ipswich had won on Wednesday night, United would have been just 10 points above the relegation zone, and that shows just how grim this campaign has been. United matchgoers haven't lost focus and remain motivated to force the Glazers into selling their shares. They are protesting before Arsenal next week and will have their voices heard. The reception for Dorgu was sent off just before halftime, and the Stretford end applauded him as he returned to the dressing room. Dorgu would have feared he'd given his teammates a mountain to climb and would have hugely appreciated the reception he received from supporters as he trudged off. The 20-year-old has made a pleasing start to life at United, but he made a mistake for the opening goal and was later shown a red card. Dorgu must put that behind him when he returns from his suspension and will be relieved that United showed tremendous grit to win the game. Dalot feeling the pressure, Diogo Dalot almost gifted Ipswich another golden opportunity shortly after their opening goal when he passed into his own box, despite there being blue shirts sensing an opening around him. The pass looked in danger of being intercepted, and Dalot had another shaky moment minutes later. This time he lost the ball when United were moving forward and the away side countered, only to be thwarted by Harry Maguire. Dalot had made a nervy start, and that's probably why he over-celebrated the goal from Dalot, which put United ahead. The 25-year-old is enduring a poor season, and signing a high-quality right wing-back must be a priority for United in the summer. Dalot cannot be a regular starter in 2025-26. Ipswich fans taunts Kieran McKenna made his return to Old Trafford on Wednesday night. McKenna joined United's academy in 2016 and was eventually promoted to the first-team coaching staff by Jose Mourinho. McKenna has done an exceptional job at Ipswich, and the traveling fans chanted, "Kieran McKenna, he left 'cause you're so," after Philogene opened the scoring within 4 minutes. Ipswich fans mocking United at Old Trafford sums up how bleak this season has been. They were in League One just 2 years ago and approached the game with plenty of confidence. Thankfully, United had the last laugh, and Ipswich fans were sent home with nothing. Obi on the bench again. The under-18s are set to play Arsenal in the quarterfinals of the FA Youth Cup on Friday, and followers of the academy will be hoping to see Obi start in that important clash. But he was named on the bench again at Old Trafford, just 4 days after he came on at Goodison Park. Obi's name was sung by the away section when he was introduced against Everton, and he arguably managed to have a bigger impact than Rasmus Højlund, despite playing just 20 minutes. The U18's campaign in the Youth Cup is the only positive story at Old Trafford this season, and United will have a better chance of reaching the semi-finals if Obi starts against Arsenal. Obi was an unused substitute against Ipswich, and that suggests he could start on Friday.